We have all been there with the battery. It's 7:30 in the morning. The air outside is crisp, maybe a little too cold. You're already 5 minutes late for work, clutching a lukewarm coffee, your mind racing through the emails you need to answer. You slide into the driver's seat, press the start button or turn the key, fully expecting the reassuring roar of your engine. But instead, you hear it. That sound. Click, 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 click. It sounds like a cheap plastic machine gun firing under your hood. Your dashboard needles quiver erratically. The interior dome light dims down to a sickly yellow glow, flickering weakly like a dying candle in a drafty room. You try to roll down the window and the glass barely moves. And in the deafening silence that follows that clicking, you just sit there. You stare at the steering wheel and start doing the frantic mental math. How much is a tow truck going to cost? Which of your neighbors is awake and has jumper cables? How much is this entire ordeal going to set you back? You dig out the crumpled warranty card from the glove box, scanning the fine print, only to realize the coverage expired exactly 2 months ago. It feels like a sick joke. It feels almost calculated. Because, in a way, it is. Think about the incredible engineering in the rest of your car. Your engine handles thousands of violent, controlled explosions every single minute, operating at extreme temperatures. Your transmission shifts gears flawlessly across hundreds of thousands of miles. Yet, this simple black box, a technology whose fundamental chemistry was literally invented in 1859, somehow magically commits suicide every 36 months. They slap a shiny, reassuring sticker on the pristine black casing that proudly says, "Maintenance-free." But do you know what maintenance-free actually translates to in modern corporate engineering? It means, you cannot fix this. When it breaks, give us more money. In the old days, batteries had removable caps. You could check the electrolyte levels, top them off with distilled water, test the specific gravity, and actually maintain the unit, but they sealed those caps. They took away your ability to intervene. They locked you out of the chemistry to ensure a steady, predictable cycle of replacement. To beat them at their own game, you have to understand the microscopic chemistry they locked you out of. Inside that heavy plastic box is a murky, highly reactive bath of sulfuric acid and a series of alternating lead plates. When you turn the key, a violent chemical reaction takes place. The acid attacks the lead plates, stripping away electrons and releasing a massive surge of electrical energy to spin your heavy starter motor. But that energy transfer comes at a physical cost. The reaction leaves something behind. It leaves microscopic crystals of a substance called lead sulfate coating the plates. In a theoretically perfect engineering model, this isn't a problem. The moment your engine fires up, your alternator kicks on, takes over the electrical load, and pushes a strong current back into the battery. This reverse flow of electricity dissolves those tiny lead sulfate crystals right back into the acid bath. It's a perfect, infinite loop. But you don't drive in a theoretically perfect world, you drive in reality. And in reality, modern vehicles never actually go to sleep. Picture your car sitting in your dark garage at 3 a.m. It looks completely dead to the world, but beneath the sheet metal, a quiet, invisible symphony of electricity is constantly playing. The security system is armed and listening. The keyless entry antenna is desperately searching the airwaves for a signal from your fob. The telematics module is occasionally pinging a cell tower. Even aftermarket accessories, like the glowing LED on your dashcam, are sipping power. This phenomenon is known as parasitic drain. Your battery is essentially a bucket of energy with 100 tiny holes drilled into the bottom, bleeding power 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Now combine that constant phantom bleeding with the way we actually drive today. A 10-minute trip to the grocery store, 30 minutes of stop-and-go traffic on the morning commute, sitting in the drive-thru with the headlights on and the radio playing. Your alternator simply does not have enough sustained high RPM time to push a full, deep, restorative charge back into those lead cells. Your battery is trapped in a state of partial charge. It is chronically underfed. Because the battery never gets that full, deep charge, those tiny lead sulfate crystals don't dissolve. They stay stuck to the plates, and they begin to grow. Zoom in on those lead plates under an electron microscope. A healthy lead plate looks like a dark, highly porous sponge. It has massive surface area, eager to absorb and release energy in the acid bath. But as those left-behind crystals grow, they form a creeping, whitish-gray frost over that sponge. At first, this crystalline frost is soft and reversible, but let that battery bake in the sweltering heat of a summer engine bay, enduring constant thermal cycles, and that soft frost cures. It hardens into a thick, dense, jagged armor of crystallized lead sulfate. This is known in the industry as irreversible sulfation. These hardened crystals act like thick insulation. They literally choke the porous lead, effectively blocking the electrochemical reactions. Here is the critical insight that changes everything. The battery isn't actually dead. The raw materials are all perfectly intact. The lead is there, the acid is functional, But they can no longer touch each other because there's a literal wall of hardened crystal standing in the way. The battery can't store energy, and it certainly can't deliver the massive jolt required to start an engine. It's not dead, it's trapped. Standard trickle chargers fail because they just push weak current against this wall. But a modern $15 smart charger equipped with a high-frequency desulfation or repair pulse mode sends targeted electrical resonance through the plates, literally shattering those crystals and safely dissolving them back into the acid, restoring the battery's surface area. Just like that, you've saved $200. But the battery isn't the only expensive optical illusion sitting in your driveway. Let's talk about the outside of your car. Right now, thousands of people are driving to auto body shops, handing over their keys, and paying a premium to fix something that isn't actually broken. They are paying to strip and repaint an entire panel when the paint itself is perfectly fine. The math is brutal. You're looking at an $800 quote for a white scratch that you can fix in your own driveway before your morning coffee gets cold. We've all been there. You're walking up to your car in a parking lot, and there it is. A glowing white jagged line ruining that perfect glossy finish. Your stomach drops. You run your thumb over it. You feel that rough, chalky groove. You drive to the shop, the air smelling of chemical thinners. The technician runs a finger over the scratch, sighs, and gives you the bad news. It's deep. We'll have to sand down the whole door, prime it, lay down a new color coat, and blend the clear coat. Boom, $800. But behind that professional demeanor, they know this is easy money. To a body shop, that white scratch isn't damage, it's profit. Modern car paint is not just a bucket of color slapped onto metal, it is an engineered system. You have primer at the bottom, the actual color coat in the middle, and on top of that, a transparent, ultra-tough chemical shield known as the clear coat. It's only about 1.5 to 2 mils thick, thinner than a piece of printer paper, yet it takes all the abuse. It is the magnifying glass that gives your paint that deep, wet, liquid gloss. When you see a white scratch, your brain hits the panic button. The color is gone. I'm seeing the primer. You are not seeing the primer. You are seeing an optical illusion. Here is the fingernail test. Go out to your car. Wipe the scratch with a damp microfiber towel. Drag your fingernail perpendicular across the line. If your nail glides over it with zero resistance, it's just paint transfer from whatever bumped into you. A little mild solvent will wipe it off. But if your nail catches, if it feels like a needle jumping the groove of an old vinyl record, you have a clear coat scratch. Notice, I didn't say a paint scratch. The color underneath hasn't been touched. It's trapped under a chaotic layer of microscopic debris. So why does it look so violently white? Think of perfectly clear glass. Light passes straight through. Scrape that glass with heavy sandpaper, and it instantly turns cloudy and white. That is diffuse reflection. Your clear coat behaves the exact same way. When scraped, it violently tears into a jagged mountain range of shattered acrylic. Sunlight hits those microscopic peaks and valleys, bouncing chaotically. Your brain interprets that scattered light as bright white. Paint shops rely heavily on your fear of that white to justify expensive repairs. Please, step away from the touch-up pen. A touch-up pen takes a thin white line and turns it into a lumpy, mismatched blob that dries dull and opaque. It screams amateur repair from 10 feet away. And cheap scratch repair waxes, frustratingly temporary, loaded with heavy oils and silicone, they seep into the scratch and artificially smooth out the light reflection. For 3 days, you feel like a genius. Then it rains, the cheap fillers wash away, and the stark white line is staring right back at you. To fix this permanently, we have to manipulate the clear coat itself. On a molecular level, your clear coat is a complex 3D matrix of polymer chains. Under normal conditions, it is rigid, but it has a vulnerability we can exploit: thermal responsiveness. And when exposed to precisely controlled heat, those polymer chains relax and become slightly flexible. By generating the right amount of heat and controlled friction, we can melt down those jagged peaks. We can force the surrounding clear coat to flow microscopically, folding it back into itself. This is applied material science, and this is why it costs $5. Step 1, clean it thoroughly. Wash the area and hit it with a detailing clay bar and lubricant to pull out embedded iron particles or tar. If you leave a speck of road grit on that paint, you will drag it across your door and create a spiderweb of new scratches. The surface needs to feel as smooth as glass under your bare fingertips before you even think about polishing. Do not skip this. Step 2, get a proper polishing compound. Not a wax. You want a true abrasive polish containing microscopic, sharp particles, usually aluminum oxide. They utilize diminishing abrasive technology, starting sharp to cut and breaking down into fine dust to polish. Step 3, apply heat through friction. Put a pea-sized drop onto a high-density foam or tightly woven microfiber pad. Work along the exact direction of the scratch, back and forth. Moderate pressure. Speed is your friend here, not brute muscle. You are intentionally creating heat through friction. After about 15 to 20 seconds, stop. Place the back of your hand on the paint. It should feel warm, just slightly above your body temperature. That is your green light. The clear coat has softened. Step 4. Blend. Change your technique. Shift into tight, small circular motions directly over the scratch. Those sharp abrasives have now shattered into smooth, jewelry-grade polishing dust. The gritty feeling will transition into a buttery, gliding smoothness. The polish itself will turn translucent. You're blending that softened clear coat to a mirror finish. Give it 30 seconds, then wipe the haze away with a clean microfiber towel. Step back. The glaring white line is gone. The rich color underneath pops through with its original depth. Run your finger over the area. It feels perfectly leveled. The ugly scar that made your stomach drop is history. But do not make the critical mistake eager DIYers make. You just reshape that clear coat, making it beautifully smooth but microscopically thinner and vulnerable. You have to protect it. Gently wipe the area with a highly diluted isopropyl alcohol mix to strip away remaining lubricating oils. Then, apply a high-quality synthetic paint sealant or a ceramic spray coating. This locks in your gloss, violently repels water, and protects those freshly exposed polymer chains against UV degradation. You just did in 10 minutes what a body shop wanted $800 for. You didn't guess. You didn't use cheap infomercial tricks. You used the actual physics of the automotive systems to your advantage. You preserved your factory finish, brought your dead battery back to life, and kept your hard-earned money in your pocket. The industry doesn't want to volunteer this information. Their business models rely on you panicking when you see a white line or hear a clicking engine. But now you know the chemistry, the layers, and the optics. You're no longer at their mercy. Share this knowledge, save someone a massive headache. And stay tuned, because next time, we are going under the hood to expose a routine maintenance fee that the dealerships have been overcharging you for since the day you bought your car.